Then the next thing that Imam Khomeini says is that if, this is the next chapter, if you want to be successful, one of the most important things that you need to do is what he calls ضبط خیال. ضبط means control. Sometimes it is used in Farsi for recording, because when you record, it means you are controlling and you don't let the voice be erased or forgotten. In Iran, we call in Farsi, we call the voice recorder, we call it zapt sot. Zapt means to record and register, but originally, literally in Arabic, zapt means to control, to save. Khiyal is that aspect of our mind that is responsible for fantasy, is responsible for imagination. It's working with images of particular things or objects or people. Our khiyal, our imagination, if you want to simplify the word, our imagination brings lots of things to our mind. And if we don't control it, not only they waste our time and they take away, they drain our energy, but they produce lots of pressure. If you keep thinking about, for example, the things that you don't have, or about, for example, someone who has been bad to you, you keep thinking, it can create depression, it can create despair, it can create intense hatred. You can totally lose your mental health. But even if you don't lose your understanding, you can become a person who is driven by these thoughts and ideas. Relations can be broken, or sinful relation can be established when khiyal is left open. One of the very, very important advice of scholars of akhlaq and irfan is to control our thoughts. Recently, I read something interesting that someone quoted from Dr. Shariati about Dr. Beheshti, Ayatollah Beheshti, rahmatullah alayh. He said that Dr. Shariati, rahmatullah alayh, said about Dr. Beheshti that this man is so organized, so punctual, so serious about his time that if he receives a sad news today, for example, suppose today is Saturday, then he would say, okay, on Tuesday from 10 to 10:15 I will feel sad. He doesn't, feel sad immediately. He doesn't let that sad news affect his program today, but he has to be somehow sad. He has to, somehow release his emotion or, think about that issue. In any case, he plans, he says, okay, on Tuesday, 15 minutes, I will leave for this. So this shows that we have to be in control. This is of course, humorous statement, but it can be actually possible. We need to decide. For example, there are lots of sad news, lots of sad things happening around. What should we do? Should we, from the beginning of the day till we go to bed, and even when we are sleeping, all the time think about these bad things, and then we lose our health, we lose our energy, we lose our hope, or we have to control? The same is about desires that we have. If there is something that I want but I don't have it, or something I don't want but it's there, I have to regulate myself. So Imam Khomeini says we need to do zabt khiyal. We need to control our faculty which is responsible for fantasy, for imagination. And if you don't do this and leave it for Satan to control, to take the lead, then Satan will bring lots of thoughts and ideas and keep developing them and growing them, and you will become really a prey, in a victim in the hand of Shaitan. So what you have to do is, whenever something bad comes to your mind, you try to divert your attention to something neutral or good. Either to something which is mubah, neutral, is still better than thinking about something which is bad. For example, about a game, about sport, about something that necessarily is not a charity work, is not ibadah, but it's good. Go and walk, look at the garden, or do something mustahab, something recommended, something which has moral significance, or do those neutral things, of course, for moral reasons. Again, they also can become. But even if it's something of just walking, just I don't know, swimming, or just washing something, keep yourself busy. Don't let that idea go around in your mind and heart. And then Imam Khomeini says, if you see the result, then thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and continue this, so that maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open for you a gate, so that maybe inshallah you would find a path towards humanity, becoming a full, complete human being. And maybe inshallah the journey towards Allah becomes easy for you. And he says, be sure and remember that corrupt ideas and thoughts, corrupt imaginations, thinking about things which are not good, are things that Shaitan projects. Ilqa'at Shaitan. These are the things, the thoughts that Shaitan projects. Shaitan cannot control us, but Shaitan can project bad ideas, thoughts, temptations to us. Because by this, Shaitan is trying to invite you. If you follow them, means you are letting Shaitan's army to enter. Shaitan cannot force his army to your heart and mind. He can just bring these ideas. If you follow, means you have opened the door for Shaitan to bring his army to yourself and control it. So you must be very careful about the plots of Shaitan, and do not let awham and these false ideas, these illusionary things go around. And inshallah, if you succeed here, you would succeed inshallah in the next steps. And you should always ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help and assistance, with really wholeheartedly asking Allah for help. And say to Allah, Imam Khomeini says, say to Allah, "O Allah, my Lord, Satan is a big enemy that even had the hope to deceive your Anbiya and Awliya." Of course, Shaitan cannot, deceive Mukhlasin, those who are purified, but not that necessarily every Awliya Allah, even maybe not every 124,000 prophets reached that level of being mukhlasin. So Shaitan even wanted to create problems for awliya Allah, for prophets. So what about weak people like us? So you please help this weak servant of you, which has many problems, including these false ideas and thoughts coming, so that can defeat Shaitan. And in this battle, please you be my helper, so that I can totally put and push outside my nafs the army of Shaitan.